Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is going to be something I've been really interested in lately. Some of you have seen on my Patreon account in my latest Random Thoughts newsletter for each month. I mentioned generative artificial intelligence again. I've also been running things through Notebook LM and all these different tools. And I've mentioned before this idea of Khanmigo. And Khanmigo is an AI tool that's from Khan Academy. And I've talked in another video, and I'll link that here in the description and try to remember to put a card up top about, how I heard about this being announced and just the story of Saul Khan and how interesting I find that whole story. His background, his approach to learning, and kind of just the mission of Khan Academy and how much I respect that. As an educator, I just find it really important that we try to make as many resources available as possible for people to engage. That being said, there's also a couple of different ways you can engage with Khan Academy, and we'll talk about those in this video because I just think it's really important for us to have this conversation. So, without any further ado, let's jump on over. So, here we are in Khan Academy, and I want to be really clear about this. I went ahead and paid the subscription price for this. You can pay for either a personal subscription or a family subscription. Both of those cost the same amount, $44 per year, and it gives you full access to the wide variety of tools that they have to offer. But an important thing to note here is that all of these tools are free to individual teachers. So if you teach, it doesn't matter at the K through 12 level, in higher education, wherever you want to use these tools and resources, you can do that. Everything from the virtual tutoring that Khan Academy has been known for a long time, all the way to these advanced tools in the AI. And I think it's really important that they make that available for free all over the world. It's just a really awesome service and feature and shows you their commitment to the educational process. Now, the reason I went ahead and paid the $44 because I can use these tools for free as an educator in higher education, but I wanted to be able to show them to you and show you kind of how they look, how they feel, what some of the capabilities were, and since my channel is monetized, I didn't want to take advantage of my free status or my free account with Khan Academy. And it's also a good way to give back. So, for example, I can use this now that I've paid the $44 to be able to give my kids access to Khan Academy and the Khanmigo tools to basically be that live tutoring piece that Khan Academy's done for years, as well as these new online virtual tutoring with the AI. And I just want to run you through this because it's a little bit different, I think, than what we think of currently as generative AI. Generative AI has been around a long time, but became very popular about a year and a half ago with the launch of ChatGPT 3 and has kind of taken off. Everything from Gemini to Copilot to Notebook LM to further iterations of ChatGPT. Uh, just pick your poison, it's everywhere. Apple Intelligence is another one that's been top of mind. But with Khanmigo, they really try to take that educational approach to it. And so that's what we're going to walk through here. So one thing I want to show you is you have this at the top, this Khanmigo drop down. Now you have all your other tools here. You can look if you have students, if you have an actual class here, different resources are here. But Khanmigo itself, and you can either go from this drop down or you can go into the broad range of tools. I kind of like the drop down because it keeps you focused on what you're doing. If you have documents you've already created, you can access those here. If you have teacher tools, you want to see those. You can go in and act as a learner. So we're all lifelong learners, and this is just another way to engage with the tool to learn different things. And then you can, of course, go into the parent tools and see what your kids have been up to, how they're engaging with the software. Are there any gaps? Are there things they need help on? It's just a really good way to be able to manage those different types of resources. So let's first, I want to show kind of the learner activities. So you pop in here, and there are a lot of different things you can do. So you can look at the teacher dashboard. You can go into student mode to see how this would actually look to a student. You can look over here on the left and you'll see that they have parent tools. Refresh My Knowledge is one that I find fascinating. I've used it in helping me refresh myself on a topic that I may be teaching. And more so as that coach, it'll ask me questions and kind of get me thinking on how to answer different questions that students may come up with. If you have children in here, you can summarize their chat history. So, what they've been asking the chatbot about, what topics they're most interested in, where they're struggling. And then this is a feature that's only available to parents where you can ask the GPT, which if you think of Chat GPT, which is that generator, that's the AI model itself. Parents have direct access to the GPT, so you can ask it questions directly and look for different help. So it's a little bit more freewheeling, a little bit less structured, which is pretty cool. But they don't make that available to children and students. Again, a lot of it has to do with where you are on the scale and what you're trying to accomplish. Tutor Me, you can pick by topic, and again, it'll give you a bunch of different things that you can choose from, very guided. Humanities, what should I learn next? Lots of different things here. I'm not going to go through all of the tools. I will show you a couple, but very important things that are happening here. They have the writing coach, which I think is really cool. So what it'll do, it'll ask you, you can begin a new essay, you can upload an essay, and then it will coach you. It won't give you the right answer, it won't fix it for you, it won't rewrite it for you. But what it'll do is it will help you kind of refine your own thoughts, crafting a story. Here, you choose the topic from a list, and then it helps you write that. Uh, Brainstorming, again, pretty cool. This is specifically an admissions essay, so someone who's applying to college. Check problems in my admissions essay. So now you've brainstormed it, you've figured it out, you've written it, and then you want to ask Khanmigo to go back and help you fix that. And then there are some other things here too. Debate. You can chat with a literary character or a historical figure. This one's actually really fun. I did this the other day and I chatted with Abraham Lincoln and just asked him, what it was like during his time period, pushed back on some different things about his stances on slavery, just wanted to see why he made the decisions he did. Again, it's very clear that you're not chatting with Abraham Lincoln. You're chatting with a simulation based on the body of research around Lincoln. But you can do that with literary characters as well. So here, of course, you've got Edison, Jefferson, Lincoln, Susan B. Anthony, Queen Victoria. I really want to chat with the Nelson Mandela one at some point. You can also do literary characters. So if you ever wanted to talk to Greek gods and see, what they may say on a specific topic, again, not not real things, but taking that literature lens and then just, who would you like to meet? Who would you like to play? So it's kind of a fun way to just learn about a topic. And I've noticed when you are chatting with the chatbot, it spends a lot of its time. As a matter of fact, let's do that really quick. So let's do Don Quixote. So I'm just curious here, and of course you can turn on Conmigo Voice so you can speak to it. You can turn on speech recognition so that you don't have to type. A lot of different ways to engage with that. Let's ask Don Quixote's emulation here. What Let's ask, why did you tilt at windmills? And we'll give it a little bit of a here. Ah, the infamous windmills. To my eyes, they appeared as fearsome giants, threatening the land with their monstrous arms. In my quest for chivalry and adventure, I could not stand idly by. But tell me, dear friend, have you ever pursued a dream that others could not see? This is why I think this is such an awesome tool, is because it asks you a question as a follow up. So you try to get into the character's mind. You try to get into the idea of what the thought process was. During my conversation with the chatbot based on Lincoln, it constantly wanted me to reevaluate my own thought process. It challenged me to think about situations while far less critical than the Civil War itself that I found myself in. And it wanted me to intellectually go through and try to put myself in a situation that may be similar. So, really cool. Then, what's really neat is if you go to the teacher tool, and this is what I want to spend a little bit more time on. And this for an educator is phenomenal because there's so many things that you can do from here and it's almost overload. And they do give you kind of a filter here at the top. So part of it's for planning, part of it's for creating, differentiating, support, learning. And the reason I like it so much is they don't just give you direct access again to the GPT. You're not going in blind and asking the tool to do something for you. Instead, you're going in intentionally. So, what I'd like to use here as an example is this idea of chunking text. So, it's going to say, what's the text title? And so you're going to say, because what we're going to do here, we'll say chapter one summary of A Tale of Two Cities. So, Tale of Two Cities is in the public domain, written by Charles Dickens. And I pulled the text from Project Gutenberg, which all of you know I'm a huge fan of as well. Just a wonderful repository, whether you want to read on the web, whether you want to read on your Kindle, whether you want to print a PDF, download just text, all different ways to be able to access this through EPUB, all of that. And so what it does is now it says, what text would you like to have chunked? Well, I'm not 100% sure if it's 1,500 words exactly. I did select just chapter one. So I'm going to paste that in, and it does look like it took all of it. And then the nice thing about Khanmigo is now it says, well, what do you want to do with this text? So you know you're chunking the text. The idea is to break it down as it says here, complex text into manageable sections for easier student comprehension. So we're doing a chapter one summary of A Tale of Two Cities. We've given it the text. And now it says, do you want to chunk a longer text by ideas for comprehension? Or do you want a shorter text by phrases for fluency? So let's say first, and maybe we'll do this twice. I just want to preface this by saying I tried to do this a little earlier with a literary work. So I wanted to try to do it with A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, and that did not work. Again, this is from Project Gutenberg. It's actually from a book called Mechanical Properties of Wood by Samuel J. Record. And again, love Project Gutenberg. It is only public domain. And I kind of mentioned this already. It's probably in the section I didn't cut out, but just another shout out to Project Gutenberg because they're awesome. But let's see, introduction, and we'll say the mechanical properties of wood. And what we're going to do here is we are then going to paste that information into Khanmigo. And again, what it does is it says, what types of chunks do you want? Do you want longer text by ideas for comprehension, or do you want phrases for fluency? So we'll do it by ideas first, and I'll show you that output. And then we'll also do it by chunk for shorter text, by phrases for fluency, and see what those differences are really quickly. So we'll do for comprehension, and we hit that. And here it is. It's popping in the text to give you the ideas. Now, this was a fairly lengthy text passage, but what's really cool about this is I'm doing this as an instructor. So I am meant, and it tells you here, to make sure that you are double checking everything here. It tells you that each subheading below represents a main idea from the text. And then all of this can be edited. So you can edit absolutely anything here, or you can ask more questions. If you think it got something wrong, you can highlight all of this and you can say, try something different. So it will rephrase. And again, you can directly edit. So it's pretty cool. All of that is editable and then can be shared, printed, or exported, depending on how you want to do that. So it gives you a lot of options. Now let's go back because I'm curious what the difference would be to this. And let's run it through differently and say, let's check it for fluency. So we'll hit start again and it's going to pop up. And you'll notice here that it does it a little bit differently. Slash marks indicate the breaks between meaningful phrases. Double slash marks indicate where a reader might take a longer pause. So this is if you are wanting to kind of explain this or maybe have a conversation about it, you can really think through what's the best way to approach that in a class and have them think through or give them time to think through. Or if you are maybe writing this out, that gives you an idea of how to where to place a comma versus a period, how much time, where to start a new paragraph, where to start a new concept. As you're planning out your process of how you're going to present this information to your students. So this isn't always just about student learning as far as giving this directly to them. You wouldn't do this. In the other one, you would modify it and you may actually give them a summary based off of that. In this one, it would be more, how am I going to write it? How am I going to talk about it? And the idea of using the one slash versus two slash is to say, okay, let's talk about this and let's talk about it in a more meaningful way. You can also do learning objectives. So if you're having trouble phrasing, because learning objectives are active and maybe you're having trouble figuring out the best way to phrase something. And the nice thing about the tools that are related to learning objectives or different scaffolding techniques are that you can pick where on the scale you're trying to place this learning objective. So I'll say college, and let's say that I want to ask students about organizational change, or let's do large scale organizational change. It's what I teach, it's a topic I know well, and then I'll say start. And here's where it's going to come in, and it's going to say, by the end of this lesson, I'll be able to examine real world examples of big organizational changes, spot what makes them succeed or fail, and assess which strategies work in different situations. Now, that is not a good learning objective. So, this is actually a really good way to show why it's not doing that correctly. So, we will want to say, discuss this. And I can say, this is really 3 learning objectives, and you separate them out. And there it is. Critically analyze case studies of large-scale organizational change to identify key successes, evaluate the effectiveness of different change management strategies, and then by the end of the lesson, students will be able to examine real-world examples of big organizational changes. Again, this third objective is too much. Even this first objective has 2 verbs. So I'm not going to get way into the weeds here because this is instructional design and educational theory, but these would be separated out. But it gives me a good start. And I think that's what's important to note here. So this idea that there are possible differences when you are looking at this is a tool. This is a guide. This is a way to brainstorm. Hopefully you see why I think this is so cool. It's not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. It's not meant to replace what you're doing as a teacher, as an instructor. It's meant to help you understand and be able to refine what's already in your head and what you're trying to get revealed and made relevant to someone else. And we'll look at two last things, and then I promise I'm done because I know this is running a little long, and I want to make sure that I'm not editing for hours on end. So one is make it relevant. And make it relevant is really important for me because sometimes you have trouble putting things in context. We've heard for years that, if you use only sports analogies, that students can feel left out because they may not play sports and they may not get the analogy. I'm a huge baseball fan, so I talk a lot in baseball metaphors. I've learned over the years not to do that all the time because that can cause friction. It can make it hard for them to understand. Whereas what you can do with this tool is maybe help put it in a better context. So let's say that we are looking at understanding interpersonal communication in organizational change. And we'll say understanding the role. And then you'll say, okay, my class, my students are adult learners over the age of, let's say, 30 and actively work. And I can say start. Now, what should happen here, we hope, and what's really cool here, you'll see they built objectives. So it's going to, again, tell you that thing. Make sure you check and look at what you're trying to do. It says mastering organizational change through effective communication. Objective enables students to identify and analyze different communication styles within their organizations. This objective aims to enhance their understanding of how these styles can influence organizational change. Again, two different learning objectives there. So it's having trouble not adding in, multiple learning objectives, but it gives a very good example of why these are important. Then it says that's one way you can do it. You can do an analysis. You can do a case study. Guide students through the evaluation of real world case studies where interpersonal communications played a pivotal role. Developing communication strategies, equip students with the skills. Again, it gives you very clear ways to do it. Role of feedback and change. Explore the importance of feedback, building collaborative networks. All of these things are so cool because, again, they're not perfect. I would go in and tinker with every one of these in multiple ways. But just the idea that you can do it and you can think through the different ways to make it work. And I could change that context up in a ton of different ways just so that I could get it to the right audience. Maybe I'm dealing with an entire freshman class. Maybe I'm dealing with seniors. Maybe I'm teaching a class to athletes, and I do want to make it relevant to their context. The more you can engage them with their daily lives, the better off you're going to be. And what's cool about this tool is it allows you to do that. So finally, the last thing that I want to talk about is this really, kind of fun tool that I just enjoy. And this is the Refresh My Knowledge. Now, this is available to students here. This is available to parents. It's available to me as a teacher. And I love this one because there are different things engaged with the tool. So here it says feeling a little dusty on some details, activities designed to prepare you for prime time with your students. To kick off the conversation, could you share what grade level and topic you would like to review? So let's go ahead and let's have a little fun with this one. So let's put I am teaching leadership to undergraduate students and want to kill a mockingbird into my lesson. And then it says, sounds like a fascinating lesson. To Kill a Mockingbird offers rich themes that can be tied to leadership. How can I help you with the lesson? Now, I prefer the learning through conversation. You can also do quizzing. Since I haven't done the quizzing yet, I will do one just because I want to see how that works. So I said one, and so it says, let's dive in. So great choice. Let's start with an overview of 5 major concepts related to leadership: moral courage, empathy, integrity, justice, and role modeling. It's amazing. So, demonstrating bravery by standing up for what's right, even when it's unpopular, for moral courage, empathy, understanding, and sharing feelings of others, integrity, maintaining honesty and strong moral principles, especially calling out Atticus Finch, justice, advocating for fairness and equality, central to the novel's plot, role modeling, leading by example. And so let's dive in. What if a student were to ask you, how does Atticus Finch show moral courage in the story? How would you answer? And I could say, by defending a black man in the South, and standing his ground when an angry mob shows up at the jail. Now, because I know the book and because this is a refresher and not something I'm learning new, I can engage in this manner, and that's why I think it's so cool. Send button. Exactly. Atticus shows more courage by defending Tom Robinson despite the backlash from the community. He also stands firm against the mob at the jail, protecting Tom with calm resolve. Would you like to explore another concept or dive deeper into this one? This is awesome. This is awesome. And for those of you who really follow my channel and understand why I'm so passionate about these topics, I think you see why. I can go down this trail. Maybe I forgot that Tom Robinson was the name. I hadn't read the story in a while. It's one of my favorite books, so that's not the case. But it added a little bit of richness to what I said. I said very basically that he's standing up, but there at the end, he's protecting Tom with calm reserve or resolve. So if you've read the book or if you've watched the movie, which I would encourage all of you to do, that interaction between Gregory Peck and the mob is amazing. This idea, this calmness, you're not getting by me. You are not going to have this happen. And quite frankly, his children show that same resolve, although not quite as calm, in running to their father's defense. So again, I won't go down a whole bunny trail on this, but that just shows you some of the power here. All right. Well, I could go on and on forever about all of these things. I could have saved any of that to my tools or to my documents, and then I would have documents here. You'll see that it does save some of it, and I can do things with these after the fact. I can remove them. I can do a lot of different things. Let's go ahead and jump back over to summarize kind of the thoughts on this. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for humoring me on this. This is one of those things that I know I do a lot of content on e-ink and organization and productivity. And quite frankly, this is a very big piece of that, just tangential. So, you have a lot happening with AI right now. And a lot of it, in my estimation, is the shiny new thing, which in some ways bothers me because we aren't going into it with intentionality. And I talk a lot on my channel about intentional technology use, using the right tools for the right jobs. And this to me is very important in that conversation. Khanmigo is not ChatGPT. It is not Gemini. It is not Copilot. It is an educational tool meant to help teachers, professors, students, parents all engage in a community of learning. And it's just one of my favorite uh, new things. And I think primarily because of the story of Khan Academy, but also just because it works so well. That's not perfect. You saw there were a lot of manipulations that I recommended I would do after the fact. Also, it wouldn't even work when I tried to have it analyze. It wouldn't even work when I tried to have it analyze A Tale of Two Cities. So there are things that are going to be glitches, but it's fun. It helps make the learning process more fun. It helps reduce or kickstart ideas. It helps you refine your own lesson plans or your own approaches to how people learn. And to me, that makes it phenomenal and makes it a game changer. As always, thank you all so much for being here with me. Thank you for participating. You should see scrolling now my patrons, those in the top tier. Thank you so much for being in that supporter tier and helping support the work I do and the content I make. If you're interested, head on over there. I've got more information on AI. I've also got my monthly supporter only newsletter that's called Random Thoughts, where I talk about different things related to e ink, related to AI, related to organization, just whatever happens to be on my mind that month. I just released the November Random Thoughts. Let me know what you think. Also, please, down in the comments, hit like if you like this video. If you didn't like it, go ahead and hit the thumbs down. Hopefully that's not the case. But also comment, share with me, how do you see AI evolving? Do you like this kind of approach or this kind of tool? Or do you prefer something like Perplexity or one of these other tools that's a little bit more um, hate to say Wild West, but really that's a little bit more open or a little bit more, freewheeling, I guess is a good way to say it. And also doesn't protect privacy. I mean, there are a lot of safeguards here between Khan Academy and ChatGPT, which is their underlying model. But the idea being that they're not sharing this information, they're not collecting, they're not allowing this to be trained on. This is your data. It's owned by you. It's eventually deleted from all of their servers. It's only your information. And I think that privacy is something that often can get overlooked. So, again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for engaging. And I look forward to your comments and continuing the conversation. I will see you soon.